Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Don't go too far.
Oh,
you may be right back up here.
Okay, great.
With an audience below 10 people, nobody is safe. If you ever roll, there's a good chance you might get called on. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to TableTopics. This is the extemporaneous portion of the meeting. I will be asking questions. You will then have an opportunity to answer it for, I believe, 1 to 2 minutes. It's impromptu, so there are no wrong answers. Knock yourself out. We have a little bit of fun tonight. I got some questions based on the theme, and then we got some interactive questions to put your skills to the test. Let's begin. Tonight, you are stuck in a jail cell, and you have to get out of this jail cell with 2 tools of your choice, which you're going to pick out of here. God knows what tools they are when you get up here. And to show how this is done, I like to pick on a professional to be a good example. I like to start with Jason. Right. I was like, don't go too far. We're going to get 2 tools out of here and tell us how you're getting out of this jail cell.
All right, so I'm going to pick 2 tools, and I'm going to tell you a story about how I'm going to use these tools to get out of my jail cell.
That's right.
All right.
Ready, set, go.
All right. Oh, this is easy. All right. So, I'm in my jail cell, and I have a hair tie. And so what I do is I take the hair tie and I wrap it around my neck until I turn like good red and a light shaded purple, and I lay on the floor making horrible sounds until the guard comes. When the guard gets there, he sees me, I look terrible, I'm laying prostrate on the floor, and he comes in to see what he could do to help me. And then I grab my other tool, an empty beer bottle. It's a very liberal jail. I grab my empty beer bottle, I smash him on the head with the beer bottle, rendering him unconscious immediately. And then, of course, I procure his keys and probably his uniform, too, if I'm wearing, like, the white and black stripes. So I switch uniforms with him. He's now dressed like a prisoner. I'm dressed like a guard with a set of keys. And out the door I go.
Thank you. Well done. I always get a kick out of this. All right. I'm going to be alternating back and forth between fun questions and thought-provoking questions. That wouldn't be any fun if I gave everyone impossibly hard questions. Let's do another one. All right. Capitola Book Cafe. Bookshop Santa Cruz. Doesn't matter where you are. You are an aspiring author. Tonight, you are giving a presentation on the book that you just wrote. Begins in about 5 minutes. Tell us, as the audience sits down, you are called to the front. And now, you get to tell us all about your book. And I'm going to call up aspiring author. Tell us about her book. I think we're going to go with Rita. Come on up, Rita. You got a book. Let's hear it. Start with that. I'm learning too. There you go. Go ahead and pick a book out. Anywhere. Bomb-proof your house.
I'm so glad everyone came today. Thank you so much. This is the follow-up book to de-zombify your home. We like to call it Bomb-proof Your House. And you may be wondering what the book covers. It covers many different details, many of which were covered in the zombie book, by the way. Things like the way you bombify your home is, or zombify your home, bomb your home, is you make sure that anything that can explode is in one location. One location where if someone came in, you could detonate it and therefore keep them out of your home. You also make sure that all your food supply is in another location again, so that if you do decide to bomb the house, you don't have to worry that the food is going to be hurt. And then, more important, you take care of your children, the people you love, your bird. You make sure that these are all protected in a special place so that when you do finally say, we are going to bombify this house, those things will not be hurt. But you may wonder, why did I write a book like this? Why would we even wonder about bombifying our home? What would be the benefit of bombifying our home? You know, you want solar, you want a new roof, you want that 3rd bathroom, you want the floor to be redone. There's one easy way to do it. You can work your whole life to try and make it happen, or you can just make sure you bomb your home, and then there you go. It'll be right there for you. All right. Thank you.
Good job.
All right. We're not all fun and games here. We got to have a serious question every now and then. The theme to this evening was old friends. Old friends are responsible for some of the best and worst times in our lives, depending on your friends. And they go farther back than just about anyone we know, more so than the common person you run into. I'd like to call on Tom. Gentle question for you. Everyone has a friend that is not doing as well as we are. Some of them are way up there doing golf in the millionaires. Some of them are sitting at home playing computer games at the age of 30. Do you have any advice that you'd like to give to a friend in need who may not have listened to it when you've talked to it before, or just maybe isn't getting the hint? Is there something you'd like to tell them, help them figure out life? Anything along those lines? Tom Barber.
I was ready to be lighthearted and say something funny, but now I have to be serious. Yes, serious face. Good advice. I would say if you are down, if you're out of work, if you're facing foreclosure, the first thing I would do is look at your attitude. You need to change the way you think. If you think about how bad things are and how they're only going to get worse, that's what's going to come to you. At the very least, you would need to start thinking about, how would I turn this around? What can I do to find a job? Maybe I have to find something temporary just to keep me going. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and whatever you ask for, whatever you think about, is what's going to be brought into your life. So you need to start with a change in attitude.
Excellent. Thank you. Appreciate it. For those of you who may have seen Hangover 1 or 2, both of the movies begin with a phone call. It's a phone call, I think, from the main character to his wife, or soon-to-be wife, depending on which one you watch. And to quote in verbatim, listen, we fucked up. We've all been there. We get into a situation and it's our friends that bail us out. Tell me of a time when you were either bailed out by a friend during some terrible situation, or vice versa. A time in which you had a friend that called and gave you the, oh, we're screwed call. And what did you do to help them out? Little Let's go with, would you like to give this one a shot?
Sure.
Bryn? Come on up.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
There was a time about 2 years ago, I was living in San Francisco, and a close friend of mine who I knew from college, she was driving from San Francisco with her sister, who she doesn't see very often, to help her sister move into Seattle. And they were making the trip up the coast, and they stopped in and said hello and spent a few nights with me. And my friend came through the door of my apartment and just about cried immediately. And she just said, I can't stand it anymore. I have to get away from my sister. Well, they had been driving, just the two of them in the car for 3 days. They had 2 dogs and a car full of stuff. And it was her birthday. And her sister is kind of a difficult person. So I said, all right, you stay here. We'll go take the dogs out. I'll take your sister and the dogs out for a couple hours, and you just stay here and relax. And so I took her sister out and the 2 dogs, and we sort of roamed around. And I just let my friend have my apartment for several hours. That's all I could give her. But she still talks about it to this day as one of the most helpful things I've ever done for her. So that's it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And now for our final question. You are an employee of a car sales department. You have been tasked with one job. One job. You got a car that's got to go. But man, something about this car makes it a little bit tough to sell. What could be the problem with it? Rory. Sure do. So here's the quirk.
Oh, I wanted to.
You're having a midlife crisis. Who doesn't? Your wife says, well, you can buy a new car, you can shave your head, or you can get a dog. You go with the car because it's a sports car, and come on. The one issue is the one car that you want, rare car, extremely expensive, and by the way, to repaint it would be very expensive because you have to take it apart, spray each piece, and then put it back together, and this just costs a lot, and it's already a very expensive car. And this car just so happens to be hot pink. So, how do you sell to a middle-aged man looking for a hot sports car, a hot pink car? You explain to him that only real men drive hot pink cars. Kevin.
All right, that concludes tonight's Table Topics session. Please take an opportunity. We don't vote here. If you have any comments about anyone's performance in the impromptu speech, feel free to jot it down on the little voting ballots that have been handed out. Hand it to them at the end of the meeting. That concludes Table Topics. I'd like to turn it back over to our Toastmaster, Jason.
Thank you. Absolutely one of the most creative batches of Table Topics questions I have ever been subject to. Kevin, thank you so much. That was great.